So, a little bit of bonus content. We just want to talk to Sam about something that isn't in the podcast. But he made a move to Ipswich for £500,000. How did it come about, and what was it like to go to such a big historic club?
Yeah, it was. Obviously, I was linked with a lot of clubs that year. I think I had a year to run, maybe. I'd signed a new contract, but I think everyone had kind of accepted it was the right time. Just because we hadn't challenged that last year, really, which was a big frustration for me.
Finished 12th, didn't they?
Yeah, I'd never go and bang on the manager's door or like publicly say anything. But obviously, when you see the type of squad we had in comparison to the previous season, I think the reality was it was going to be another year or two before probably we were challenging again. So I think it was the natural outcome really to move on. I had a few options. Obviously, Watford was a front runner early because of Adi Boothroyd and Kingy were big mates.
Yeah.
And I was keen on that. And it was only kind of when I spoke to Adi and he spoke about the squad he was putting together, I thought, could be a bit of a struggle next year, you know, might be down the bottom of the league. And they went and got promoted that season. And I was laid up with a broken leg. And I was pretty homesick when I went to it. So I say homesick, I just didn't really settle in the area. Watford would have been obviously geographically better for me. So it's one I think back on. But to answer your question, really, like when Joe Royle initially spoke to me, and I was due to go up and see Nigel Worthington the same day at Norwich. Yeah. But Joe cleverly, me and my agent picked him up from Heathrow Airport. He'd been away somewhere, it was obviously June or whatever. Picked him up, maybe, it would have been mid-June. Picked him up from Heathrow, so we had the 2 hours with me driving up to Ipswich, which you think, clever. And to be honest, I'd done about 200 yards in the ground, you know, down a few of the corridors and seen the pictures and stuff like that. I was like, I'm coming here.
Unbelievable ground, isn't it?
It's just like the history, and I know that's a throwaway line, but I suppose the Premier League in its infancy and Ipswich were in the top division, you know.
And they won the UEFA Cup.
Yeah, I'm too young to know. I knew the names, obviously John Walker and what have you, and brilliant because those guys were still around the place. Used to see John Walker a lot and what have you. It's a good club in that regard, you know. But once I've been in them corridors and seen it all, and it feels a bit like regal. It's a bit like, you know, maybe when you used to go into Highbury. Yeah. It's a bit like that. Funny. Yeah. Like all the old pictures and stuff like that, and the carpet. So my mind was made up. So that was a tough phone call to Nigel Worthington that evening. But yeah, I mean, looking back, I don't really have any regrets because how it made me feel those few days. And, you know, I spent enough time with you boys to know that I love football, and massive part of my life always has been, always will be. So to go and sign for, you know, a famous club like that, and be back in the Championship and closer to getting back in the Premier League is obviously where I started at Chelsea. It was like one of the, not because anything to do with Swindon, because the 3 years here are the best by a country mile. Do you know what I mean? Nothing now will ever surpass my memories at this place, and it'll always be, you know what I mean, for my boys growing up. I want them to come here, I want them to have shirts, I want them to, you know, QPR's my family team, but Swindon will be the second team, unquestionably. But that day was an amazing day, you know, and I'll always think back to that, irrelevant of what happened afterwards in terms of my career, my playing career at Ipswich. That day was one of the best days of my life. Yeah.
Good chunk of money as well, wasn't it? Considering it was...
What, my money? You going there?
No, but even, obviously 500...
There's none of it left, mate.
Yeah, $500,000 now is still a lot for a player to sign. So.
Yeah, it was. And that,
especially in these...
Yeah, and that would have been a part of it. That, it would have been. And it's like Sky Sports and all that. Do you know what I mean?
So it is a good chunk of money.
And at that time, there weren't loads of coverage, was there?
No.
We'd get the Saturday night show probably. I don't know, even if we did it.
No.
Might have been on the sabbatical.
I'll tell you what there was Football League Review on Sky.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, I remember some of the voices. Yeah. You would have got the goals there, maybe got them on a Sunday lunchtime.
Very young Dave Jones was on it.
Yeah.
Doing all that kind
exactly.
of stuff.
So, even the price tag, even like coming up on Sky Sports, all those things, it was just like, it was a bit like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, like, but that's big time.
Yeah.
And it's before, obviously, all the media coverage now. So yeah, it was an amazing day. And then, obviously, I did a podcast about it, not to plug another podcast, but went really in depth with it with YouTuber Benjamin Bloom. I'm doing a bit of work with at the moment. He was a researcher on the ITV show.
Yeah.
So we got to know each other a little bit. Big Ipswich fan. We probably did an hour on it,
Right.
and it's quite a lot of soul searching. It was quite therapeutic.
I can imagine.
You take a bit of responsibility, take a lot of responsibility for it not going well at Ipswich, but I think there were other factors, and I tried to be as balanced as I could be. And we went over it. Injury obviously a big part. Loss of confidence, myself, big part. I spoke about the lack of probably proper coaching that I received, which would just be so alien now. And a great example of what Kieran McKenna's doing at Ipswich. I just didn't feel that I improved at all. Partly probably down to me, partly down to the era we were in. So I did probably about an hour with him, went over it all, and probably got a lot of kind of what would be the word? Probably a lot of upset, probably still in there, because that was my great opportunity, and unfortunately it didn't happen for me.
Pretty deserved move though after 3 years and
now,
over 70 goals.
Now 5 goals, isn't it? And you're off. So now I look at it and I think it's unbelievable.
70 goals, over 70 goals in 3 years, so it's obviously bound to happen.
What a story.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.